Daf Yomi, Tractate Sanhedrin, page 29, A. Top of the page with the words Krovim v'nisracha ku. Krovim v'nisrachu havi ato l'kamei l'dina amar lahu pasilna lahu l'dina. Were relatives of his and became not related to him, as Mar Ukva's wife, who was their sister, died. They came before him for judgment. Mar Ukva said to them, I am disqualified from adjudicating for you. Amrule my daita Reb Yehuda Anan my tinan Igarta mimarava de'ein halacha Reb Yehuda. They said to Mar Ukva, what is your opinion according to which you disqualify yourself? Do you rule in accordance with the opinion of Reb Yehuda, that since you have children, we are still relatives? We shall bring a letter from the west, from Eretz Yisrael, that the halacha is not in accordance with the opinion of Reb Yehuda. Amar lahu atu b'kaba dekira id bakna behu delo ka'amina besilna lahu ladina ela mishum delo tzatitu dina. Mar Ukva said to them, is that to say that I am stuck to you with a kav of wax? I agree that we are not considered relatives. I am saying that I am disqualified from adjudicating for you only because you will not obey the verdict, and I do not wish to participate in such judgment. Ohev zeh shishoshvinu. The Mishnah teaches that according to Yehuda, the one who loves or one who hates one of the litigants is disqualified from bearing witness. One who loves one of the litigants, this is referring to his groomsmen. The Kama, Amar Rabbi Abba, Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah, Amar Rav, Kol Shivas Yimei Hamishde, V'Rabbanan Mishmei de Rava Amri, Afilu Miyom Rishon Ve'elach. The Gemara asks, and for how long is the groomsman disqualified? Rabbi Abba says that Rabbi Yirmiyah says that Rav says throughout all this of the 7 days of feasting, and the rabbis say in the name of Rava, even from the first day after the wedding and onward, he is no longer disqualified. He is disqualified only on the wedding day itself. Hasone kol shelo diber Tanu Rabbanan v'hu lo oyev lo yedidenu v'lo mevakesh rayato yedidenu. The Mishnah teaches one who hates the litigant is referring to anyone who, out of enmity, did not speak with the litigant for 3 days. The sages taught in a Braita, the halacha is derived from the verse, and he was not his enemy, neither sought his harm, Numbers 35:23. That one about whom it can be stated, and he was not his enemy, can testify about him, and one who neither sought his harm can judge him. Ashkechan Sone Ohev Minalan. The Gemara asks, we found a source for the disqualification of one who hates. From where do we derive that one who loves is disqualified? Kari Bey Hachi Vehu Lo Oyev Lo Velo Ohev Lo Yeidenu Velo Mevakesh Rayato Velo Tovato Yedidenu. The Gemara answers that one should read into the verse like this: about one whom can it be stated, and he who was not his enemy, nor one who loves him, can testify about him, and one who neither sought his harm nor his favor can judge him. Midei ohev ketiv, elas svarahu oyev my taima mishum de mirachaka date. Ohev nami mikarva date. The Gemara asks, is one who loves written in the verse? How can the verse be read in this manner? Rather, the extension of the disqualification to the one who loves him as well is based on logical reasoning. What is the reason an enemy is disqualified from bearing witness? It is because he feels a sense of aversion toward that individual and might testify falsely against him. A similar logic can be employed with regard to one who loves as well. He feels a sense of affinity toward that individual and might testify falsely on his behalf. The Rabbanan, Hai lo oyev lo, lo mivakesh rayato, mai darish be. The Gemara asks, and what do the rabbis who do not agree with Rabbi Yehuda derive from this verse? And he was not his enemy, neither sought his harm. Chad l'dayan. The Gemara answers one part of the verse is necessary for the halakha that a judge who loves or hates one of the litigants is disqualified. The rabbis agree with this halakha. As such, a judge is naturally inclined to favor one of the litigants. Idach, Keretanya Amar Rav Yossi Rabbi Yehuda, V'hu lo oyev lo, v'lo mevakesh rayato. Mikan l'shnei talmidei chachamim, she'shonin ze ze, she'en yoshvim bedin ke'echad. The other part of the verse is interpreted in accordance with that which is taught in the Braita. Rabbi Yossi, son of Rabbi Yehuda, says, with regard to the verse, and he was not his enemy, neither sought his harm, is derived from here that two Torah scholars who hate each other cannot sit in judgment together as one. Because of their hatred, they will come to contradict each other's rulings unjustly. New Mishnah. Ketzad bodkim es edim, ahaya machnisin osan lecheder, umi aymin alehen, umotziin es kol adam lachutz, umeshairin es hagadol shebehen. How do the judges examine the witnesses? They bring them into a room in the courthouse and intimidate them so that they will speak only the truth. And they take all the people, other than the judges, outside so that they should not tell the other witnesses the questions the judges ask and the answers the first witness gives. And they leave only the eldest of the witnesses to testify first. The Omrim lo emor hayech ata hech ata yodea shezeh chayav lozeh. Im amar hu amar li shani chayav lo, ish ploni amar li shu chayav lo, lo amar klum ad shiyomar befanenu hoda lo shehu chayav lo Masayim Zuz. And they said to him, say how exactly you know that this litigant owes money to that litigant, as the plaintiff claims. If he said, the defendant said to me, it is true that I owe the plaintiff, or if he says, so-and-so said to me that the defendant owes the plaintiff, the witness has said nothing, and his testimony is disregarded. it is not valid testimony unless he says, the defendant admitted in our presence to the plaintiff that he owes him, for example, 200 dinars. By admitting to the debt in the presence of witnesses, he renders himself liable to pay the amount that he mentioned. V'achar kach machnisin es hasheni ubodkin oso l'im nimtzu d'vran mu'chuvanin nosin v'notnim b'davar. And afterward they bring in the second witness and examine him in the same manner. If their statements are found to be congruent, the judges then discuss the matter. Shnaim omrim zakai ve'echad omer chayav zakai. Shnaim omrim chayav ve'echad omrim zakai chayav. Echad omer chayav ve'echad omer zakai afilu shnaim mizakin o shnaim mechayavin ve'echad omer ein yodea yosifu hadayanin. If the opinions of the judges are divided, as two judges say that the defendant is exempt from payment, one says he's liable to pay, he is exempt. If two say he is liable and one says he's exempt, he is liable. If one says he's liable and one says he's exempt, or even if two of the judges deem him exempt, or two of them deem him liable, and the other one says, I do not know, the court must add more judges and then rule in accordance with the majority opinion. This is because the one who abstains is considered as though he is not a member of the court. Gamru es hadavar hayu machnisin osan agadol shebedayanin omer ish ploni ata zakai ish ploni ata chayav. After the judges finish the matter and reach a decision, they bring in litigants. The greatest of the judges says, so-and-so, you are exempt from paying, or so-and-so, you are liable to pay. Luminayin, the cheshiyetze lo yomar, ani mizake v'chavirai mechayvim, aval ma eseh shechavirai rabu alai. Al ze ne'emar lo telech rachil b'amecha. Ve'omer holech rachil megaleh sod. And from where is it derived that when the judge leaves the courtroom, he may not say, I deemed you exempt, and my colleagues deemed you liable. But what can I do? As my colleagues outnumbered me, and consequently you are deemed liable. About this, it is stated, you shall not go as a talebearer among your people. Leviticus 19:16. And it says, one who goes about as a talebearer reveals secrets, but one who is of a faithful spirit conceals a matter. Proverbs 11:13. That's the Mishnah. Now the Gemara says, Heichan amrinan lahu. Amar Rav Yehuda, Hachi amrinan lahu, Nisiim v'ruach v'geshem ein ish is halel b'matzas sheker. The Mishnah teaches that the judges intimidate the witnesses. The Gemara asks, what do we say to them? Rav Yehuda says that this is what we say to them. It is stated, as clouds and wind without rain, so is he who boasts himself of a false gift. Proverbs 25:14. In other words, there will be no rain and no blessing from your deeds if you lie. Amr le Rava, Yachili lemeimar, Shav shani hava kafna, ve'abava umna lo chalif. Rava said to him, if you false witnesses can say to themselves that they do not have to worry about this punishment, according to the folk saying, 7 years there was a famine, but over the craftsman's door it did not pass. If the witnesses are not farmers, they do not need to worry over lack of rain. Consequently, they will disregard this concern. Ela amar Rava amrina lahu me'efitz v'cherev chetz shanun ish oneh b'riyehu eid sheker. Rather, Rava said that we say this verse to them. As a hammer and a sword and a sharp arrow, so is a man who bears false witness against his neighbor. Proverbs 25:18. Meaning that a false witness will die prematurely. Amar le Rav Ashi Yachli Lameimar Shav Shani Have Mosana Beinish Below Shenei Lo Shechiv. Rav Ashi said to him, here too false witnesses can say to themselves, a folk saying, 7 years there was a pestilence, but a man who has not reached his years did not die. Everyone dies at his predestined time. Therefore they will disregard this concern as well. Wow. Ella Amar Ravashi Amar Li Nasan Bar Marzutra Amrina Lahu Sahadi Shakri A'a Graihu Zili Yichsiv Ve'oshivi Shnaim Anashim B'nei B'lia'al Negdo Ve'idu Lemor Birachta Elohim V'melech. The Gemara presents another suggestion. Rather, Rav Ashi said, Natan Marzutra said to me, that we say to them that false witnesses are belittled even by those who hire them, and all the more so by others. As it is written that Jezebel said when she ordered witnesses to be hired to testify against Naboth, and set 2 men, base fellows, before him and let them bear witness against him, saying, you cursed God and the king. 1 Kings 21:10. Even Jezebel, who gave the orders to hire them, called them base fellows. Im Amar, Hu Amar Li Ku. Ad Shiomru, Yefanenu Hodelo, Shehu Chayavlo Masayim Zuz. The Mishnah teaches that if the witness said, the defendant said to me, it is true that I owe him, his testimony is disregarded unless he says the defendant admitted in our presence to the plaintiff that he owes him 200 dinars. Misayeh alei Rav Yehuda de Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav Tzarech Shiomar Atem Eidai. The Gemara comments this supports the opinion of Rav Yehuda, as Rav Yehuda says that Rav says the debtor needs to say to the witnesses, to the loan, or in his admission that he owes the creditor, you are my witnesses. Otherwise, their testimony is not valid. Itmar Nami Amar Rabbi Chia Bar Abba Amar Rabbi Yochanan Mena li biyadecha Amar lo Hain Lamachar Amar lo Tenehu li Amar Mashte ani bach Patur. It was also stated that Rabbi Chia Bar Abba says that Rabbi Yochanan says, if one said to another, I have 100 dinars in your possession, meaning you owe me 100 dinars, and the other said to him, yes, and the next day the claimant said to him, give it to me. If the other then said to him, I was teasing you, meaning I did not mean it seriously when I said that I owed it to you, The respondent is exempt. Tanya nami hachi manali biadecha amar lo hein lemachar amar lo tenehu li amar lo meshate ani bach patur. This is also taught in Braita. If one said to another, I have 100 dinars in your possession, and the other said to him, yes, and the next day the claimant said to him, give it to me. If the other one then said to him, I was teasing you, the respondent is exempt. I think we're going to pause this and make this part 1. Continued with part 2.